How do you know if a man is falling deeply in love with you? There are actually four things that a man will start saying when he's falling deeply in love with a woman. And I've actually got a fifth bonus thing that you need to remember and pay attention to in this regard as well. So, hello, my name is Matthew Coast, and welcome to my channel. Okay, so the first thing that a guy will say is, I love. And this may not have you at the end of it. It might not. If that hasn't been spoken yet, though, if you haven't said I love yous to each other yet, it might be something that he's not quite ready to say, or he's not sure if you're ready to hear it, or he's not sure if you're ready in the same space as he is. And so a lot of times what guys will do is they'll say I love and then talk about other things, right? Like, I love spending time with you, or I love talking to you, or I love your idea or your ideas. I love your passion. I love your excitement. I love hanging out with you. I love doing this. I love, love will come out of his mouth. And the reason that this comes out of his mouth is because it's a reflection of what's going on inside of him. And so if he's really excited about something, then he will start expressing that through either his body or his language or in some way. And so this is a very, very common thing. And like I said, sometimes he might not say I love you. He might though, right? So if you are already at that stage in a relationship, he might already be saying it. If you're not at that stage, he might just be saying these other things because he's feeling so excited and he just loves hanging out. And it's this internal state that's going on inside of him. And he's thinking it and he's feeling it and he wants to express it. And so he starts saying, I love doing things. I love hanging out with you. I love what's going on with you. Any of those kinds of things. So number two, second thing that a guy will say is, are you hungry? And this may actually also sound like, how are you feeling? Or are you all right? Or something like that. It's kind of like a check-in. He's going to check in with you and see how you're doing, because he's going to start. It's like a masculine biological urge that comes up for guys, where somebody that he cares about and is with him, he wants to make sure that they're okay, that they're taken care of, that everything's okay with them. And so he'll check in with different things like, hey, are you hungry? How are you feeling? Are you all right? Like, is everything okay? And sometimes guys will do this throughout a date or throughout just hanging out with you and just checking in with you, because he's focusing on you and he wants to make sure that you're taken care of and you're under his protection and that everything is going well with you. And this can actually happen with him with friends and family and other people that he actually really cares about. One of the things that I actually do when I'm just out with friends that I care about is I'll go out and I'll act as like almost like a bodyguard or something. And I just, like, if I go and hang out, I don't drink personally, but if I'm hanging out with people, I'll make sure that everything's okay. If somebody like strays off, if we like went to a bar or something like that, I'll make sure that I keep an eye on them and see what's going on with them. Cause it's just this like male masculine biological urge that I have to make sure that my friends and the people that I care about in my life are taken care of. And so a lot of guys will do stuff like that in a whole bunch of different ways. And one of the ways is just asking you if you're hungry, if you're all right, if you need something, if you're taken care of, and making sure that you are in those ways. So number three is, we should go together. And it may also sound like, do you want to go? Or I'd love to do that. And so basically what this is an indication of is he's looking into the future and he sees you potentially in his future. And he's gotten to the point where he cares about you. He really likes you so much. He's so into you that he wants to put you in his future, and he wants to be a part of your future as well. And so a lot of guys do this, especially in the earlier stages when he's starting to fall in love and he's starting to connect with you. He'll start to look at the future and he'll start saying these things as a little test, because he wants to find out how you feel about it. He wants to let you know that he's thinking about it. And sometimes guys aren't really sure if you're on the same page with him or not. And so he'll throw out little things like that to see what you say and how you respond and how you react to it. And just to see if he can take you on other dates for things that you like or that he likes. If he might ask you if you're interested in going to something, or if you like something, or if you would be interested in something. Just because a lot of guys, sometimes when they're talking to a woman that they really, really like, they'll start figuring out like other things that he can take her to because he wants to impress you. He wants to have you in his future. He sees a potential at the very least of you guys being together in the future. And so he'll start saying things like that. We should go to that together, or we should go together, or, is that something you'd like to go to? Or would you go to that, or any of that kind of stuff? Or you say something and he's like, oh, that sounds really cool. Oh man, I'd love to do that. I'd love to go to that. I'd love to be a part of that. And it could be anything, right? Any kind of interest that you have, any kind of interest that he has. He's just kind of pinging and testing to figure out where you are with that, to find out if you're in alignment with doing those kinds of things in the future. In just a minute, just a little second. Anyway, number four is, that sounds really tough. And he may also say something like, that sounds exciting, or you've been through a lot, or anything like that. Anytime where instead of taking what you're talking about and going into some kind of logical direction with it, or trying to fix some kind of problem that you have, or any of those kinds of things, instead of doing that, he's having compassion for you. He's having empathy for you. He's looking at you and he's imagining what you're going through and how you're feeling. And he's connecting with those emotions because he wants to get closer to you. He wants to feel those things. He wants to be connected with you in that way. Guys who don't care, what they do is they kind of disassociate for that. And it can also happen if a guy's like really into his head a lot. But if he really, really likes you, what he'll start doing is focusing on you and trying to connect with you, and even kind of, it's almost like reaching out to connect with you in a way so that he can feel the same things that you're feeling, so that he can be on that same level with you and feel like you're both there together in that moment, experiencing the same things. And so that's it with the different things that he's going to say. And then number 5, what I wanted to say was, remember this. Always remember this. Words and actions need to be in alignment. So a lot of times women will get caught up in this like words thing, because sometimes guys will do some of these things and there's some kind of genuine intent behind it, but you need to have that action behind it as well. And so the words and the actions need to be in alignment. If his words and his actions are out of alignment, always believe the worst of the two. So if his words are like lovey-dovey and he's showing you how much he cares about you, but his actions are kind of distant and he's cold and he doesn't seem like he's really caring, believe his actions. If his actions are lovey-dovey and caring and all over you, but his words are distant and showing confusion and showing that he's not really interested and that he's doesn't want something longer term, believe the words. So words and actions out of alignment, believe the worst of the two. Always, you need to listen to both of those things. So I'm going to go back over all the different 5 things again. When a man is deeply in love, he'll say these different things. Number 1 is I love, and it doesn't have to be you. It could be I love, things about you. I love hanging out with you. I love your ideas. I love, just things that you're doing together or any of that kind of stuff. It's a reflection of his internal state. 2 is are you hungry, which is just it's a biological male instinct to make sure that you're taken care of. So it could also sound like, how are you feeling? Are you all right? Number 3 is we should go together. And so this is him looking into the future and wanting to go together with doing something. He might be testing to see where you are with it, or if you're interested in the same things, or if you want to go with him, or any of those kinds of things. I'd love to do that. Do you want to go? Any of those kinds of words. Number 4 is that sounds really tough. And so instead of trying to fix things or going in a logical direction or just trying to share his own stuff, he's connecting with your emotion. He's figuring out where you are. He's putting himself into your shoes, and he's attempting to experience what you're experiencing, because he wants to feel closer and more connected with you. He wants to understand you on a deeper level. And then number 5, make sure to look for words and actions being in alignment. And if one of the two is out of alignment, always believe the worst of the two.